We're back. It's with the Asics NovaBlast 4, and we have it at the big 200 miles. We're going to talk about what's good, what's bad, what's working with the shoe, what's not. Without further ado, let's just get into it. So before we continue, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're already subscribed to the content. Thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other updates and things like that as we move into the 2025 season. Lots of exciting stuff coming up, so definitely want to share that with you guys. So without further ado, let's begin with this shoe. So again, NovaBlast 4. This is the first of the NovaBlast series that I've been exposed to in terms of running on my own. I do have an understanding of previous shoes and which models in the lineup were wowing people and were just absolutely extraordinary. But the NovaBlast 4, people said this one kind of took it back a little bit, but as somebody who just had them for the first time, still quite an amazing feel for the shoe overall. That's just kind of our quick summaries. But we've had these for 200 plus miles now, so I would expect to see some interesting things on the outsoles. So that's where we're going to begin, right? As we usually do. That's going to be the left foot for you. That's going to be our right foot. And I would say first thing I'm looking for is symmetry in terms of wear. Once again, how's it looking? For the most part, everything is looking pretty symmetrical in terms of wear. Maybe there's some anomaly areas across the shoe. Maybe one's got more wear towards the lower and whatnot. I guess if we start with our main culprit, which I think would be our right foot. Again, when I bought the shoes originally, the big concern was debris getting stuck in the crevices of the foam. At this point, I don't see much of that happening right now. In fact, what we can see is that the foam in the inner areas of the shoe is starting to take more of a beat down than the rubber itself, which I guess in my opinion, this is a good thing, right? If the rubber's holding up, then there's still mileage to be put into the shoe, which is great. That means as long as the foam isn't directly exposed on the outer piece of the fresh foam blast areas on both sides of the shoe, I think there won't be any sort of, I guess, extra wear on the knees, any sort of impact injuries to the ankle, your feet. So as of right now, let's keep this structure kind of going as, again, 200 plus miles. I'm genuinely shocked at the condition of the shoe, that it's like this good. Now, it's worth mentioning that it is the winter time. I'm spending about maybe 50% of my workouts indoors on a treadmill, 50% outdoors, so that could be impacting the wear a lot, as treadmill running is probably less abrasive on the outsole of the shoe. But that all being said, there's other factors to consider outside of the damage, and it's more of the foam's overall integrity and structure as we go along. So this would be probably a question to ask, I guess, yeah, for myself, but as I was pointed out to other YouTube commenters before, what happens to the foam structure in terms of where it's creasing, where it's got wrinkles? Can the shoe go on in terms of what the foam is able to offer up in terms of protection? And I would say at 200 plus miles, I think a yes, for sure, if you have sort of my biological specs. If you're, you know, 5'8", 5'9", if you're about 145 pounds right now, or a little bit more, give or take, I think the shoe is in great shape. Now, if you were to double my weight, I'm not totally sure. I guess we would have to kind of assess it based on just looking at the shoe, looking at the foam, how it's looking, what the outsole's shape and condition is. But 200 plus miles, if the shoe looks like this, right, with the amount of creasing we've got on both ends of the shoe, I'd say it's pretty okay at this time. I personally didn't feel anything sort of bad in the shoe while running with it. Nothing is severely injured after my runs or feels extremely sore. That's what I'm usually paying attention for in terms of joints and in terms of like the femoral areas and things like that. So in this case, shoe's kind of riding well. Now, that was the right foot, and then I kind of went on a tangent. If we go back to our left foot, in terms of wear, same kind of deal. A lot of beat down on the foam on the inside. We do have a bit of a chip of the foam on the outer area of the shoe here. That could be as a result of maybe some clipping while running. That's usually the reason that would happen if you're, you know, you have a moment of glute or hamstring weakness. And the shoes do clip one another. This is a common occurrence more than usual. It just means like your typical muscles that while you're sitting, usually for longer periods of time during the day or during the week, you would need to train the gluteus muscles to prevent this from happening. It gives more strength to your knees and your feet to have that kind of independency without them caving in and clipping one another. Just from personal experience, I don't have any scientific terms for that. I'm sure someone in the comments can sound off what this official occurrence is called, more or less. In the heel area, again, the rubber is in great shape still. As somebody who's like trying to even walk with these and use them at the gym, nothing particular is sticking out as a major wear or anything beaten down. Again, I do want to observe the anterior area of the shoe with great interest still, just to see how bad I can chip this foam, or if it gets to a point where it's so polished out that there's zero grip, what that's going to do in the long term. If the shoe is just, it's something I got to retire at that point, it's going to be hard to say. But again, I want to just see what happens to the central area as well, and overall just the structure of the foam. Like, if I continue running in this shoe, are my feet going to feel terrible? Or, you know, my joints going to feel bad? Because right now, everything feels great. Sometimes when I run after, like, having a daily use of a carbon plate shoe, the injuries will sort of start stacking up, especially during the winter time when vitamin D is low, the sun is not out in, like, the Chicagoland area. Right now, you know, I'm just kind of giving myself a self-check on just how my body's feeling. I just have like some muscle tiredness just from working out, from, you know, running and just biking on and off, and then just doing some leg day stuff. But nothing is hurting, I guess you can say, right? So at this time, I would say the shoe at 200 plus miles still holding up really well. Other things to look into, again, the upper is in great shape. Like I mentioned before, when I still kind of do have my subungular hematoma in my big left toe. So the toe just basically had, you know, I kept on smashing it in the toe box of my Alpha Fly 3s during a race, and as a result, there's just a lot of pain and swelling, and now the toe is like completely black. The toenail is going to stay, it's not going to pop off, thankfully. And I needed a shoe that I can continue running in without so much pain, and as I mentioned in a previous video, the NovaBlast 4 has a big enough toe box where this isn't an issue, it isn't compressing it in any sort of way, so I'm really happy with that, right? The only con, I think, with this shoe at this time, if I had to like seriously pick one out, because it's very difficult, is probably two things. One, there is sometimes a case of getting the fit right. If you loosen the shoe all the way and then you try to tie it back, you might not have the same kind of lockdown as previously. That's kind of something that's expected if you loosen the shoe as much as I do, just to you know, not strain the, I would say, the crease or the attachment of the heel between the foam. So like if you pull the shoe off, you don't want to yank the foam off, kind of a thing, like I did in my Pegasus Turbo 2s way back in the day. But the second thing is just based on the material used. Yes, it is comfortable, but it does have a knack for retaining water and sweat for a longer period of time than something with less material. Kind of a given, once again. This is not an issue if you run once a day. For me, when I'm like running or attempting to run twice a day and then use this for gym workouts, that water kind of retains in the shoe, and it doesn't truly impact the performance of the shoe. It might weigh a little bit more because you have that water in the shoe. It does sometimes smell in this case, so what I obviously did before this video is I did wash the shoe. I got it kind of scrubbed off of any sort of dirt or you know, iron residue I had from just using the shoe while running this through kettlebells so I could do crunches like during my gym sessions and whatnot. But nevertheless, that's just the one thing I would advise, is that it's probably not the world's best 2-a-day shoe. And again, 2-a-days is kind of a niche topic to discuss just because not everybody has the time or the training regimen or even the will to run twice a day. Like, running twice a day is truly it's a serious commitment. It's a big time, I would say, yeah, like it is just a time commitment. Your training has to be very specialized as to what you're trying to accomplish in the 2-a-day. For me, it's like, you know, first run is going to be a little bit more aggressive. It's going to have a little bit more speed workout in it, and then the second run is going to be designed to be as MAF tone as possible, low distance, low time. Just the idea is keep the heart rate low and just see if I can simulate the lower effort running on a treadmill or something along those lines at like 10-minute pace. So if that is kind of you, then yeah, this is like that perfect 2-a-day shoe. You can use it for the second workout and it'd be just fine in my opinion. Just something I would bring up if you know, you're one of these people who likes running 2 days and you're like, hey, can I run with this shoe twice a day? Long answer, yes. Kind of advising against it just because, you know, the water retention and just the discomfort that would be associated with it, right? But yeah, at that point, again, the ride of the shoe is great. I have nothing I can complain about with it majorly other than that. I do want to see if I can get this thing to 300 plus miles and just see what happens to it overall, because the shoe still looks great. And I really do commend Asics for just having engineered a truly great daily trainer. And yeah, I do want to see what happens with it. I'm aware that the NovaBlast 5 came out recently, or is going to come out, so that's going to be on my radar of things to try out in terms of shoes. But what's currently on the radar after this one is the Zoomfly 6, which I am currently wearing and just getting a fit for. And I will be reviewing that shortly after my run, which is going to be in like less than an hour. But I did just want to mention this shoe as I just cleaned it. I'm going to give it a chance to kind of breathe and kind of dry off from the wash. And yeah, we're going to have some more stuff coming up on the channel. 2025 is going to be great. That's just kind of a precursor for great things to come. And more things to discuss about shoes, and hopefully the Zoomfly 6s are going to be great. We'll find out in a couple of days when I release that video. But yeah, if you have any agreements, disagreements with this video, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I will leave it right here. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.